And I have one more question is, I know that the headline is very important, right? Because you see what the person works with, or okay, if you are a QA engineer, if you are like a manual tester or something like that, it's usually on the headlines. But I also see a lot of things which is people saying what they do, so what they are working with, like, oh, I'm a QA engineer, and then there is a bar separating it with like JavaScript, Cypress, and saying what all the technologies that they are using. There is a lot of sense that people think that this is good, and there's people think that this is not that good. But as a recruiting, seeing and understanding the candidate's page, do you think that changed something, or is it good for searching or something like that?
I think the reason why people do it is more so what not to be reached out for. And what I mean by that is if you put automation tester, but you're using Cypress for this example, you don't want necessarily every recruiter that's using Java Selenium or Python Selenium reaching out to you. So they're clarifying, saying, I'm an automation engineer and this is what I use, right?
Okay,
These are the
okay.
types. So I think the reason why is they're publicizing that I'm using JavaScript and TypeScript. I'm not interested in Python, C
Mm,
Sharp, and Java Selenium. I want to use these bleeding edge technologies, for instance. I think that's how they're trying to differentiate themselves. Otherwise, you could just have there's multiple things you could have. You could have looking, you could have remote roles only, you could have automation tester with these tools. You can have, for instance, if they're newcomers coming to Canada, you can have valid open work permit, right? So you can identify saying, I'm looking for work and I'm able to work in Canada or the States or wherever they're trying to go. Because naturally, if no one has no Canadian experience and no Canadian education, people may think that you need sponsorship,
all right,
right?
yeah, that's true.
However, maybe you don't need sponsorship. You got in here through a different channel to identify I'm in Canada or I'm moving to Canada and I'm able to work legally within the company. People can add that to their headline as well.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I'm asking those questions because now there's a bunch of AI tools that I use and I like to use because it helps a lot. And part of these tools tells you that you need some specific informations on the headline. And these informations are not always the best ones. Like if I'm starting as a QA and I'm searching for a job, probably making things more specific, like saying, oh, I use Cypress, I use JavaScript, maybe can be a little bit worse to find a job on different positions, right?
For sure. So yeah, if you're not a specialist in something and you're junior level looking for work, I would leave it very open. I would leave it
Okay.
more broad. So you could leave it as recent grad looking for developer or testing roles, for instance. If you want to
Okay.
leave it completely open, or don't put the language in there or the tool belt in there and just say recent grad looking for testing roles or
Okay.
recent grad looking for developer roles, right? Because yeah, you're not an expert in anything likely, and what you're trying to do is you're just trying to find your first job. So then the resume or the LinkedIn would be different. You would talk about I'm trainable, I'm coachable, here are my personal projects that I've worked on, this is what I've studied, here are the internships that I've done, or here's the co-ops that I've done. So you're still trying to add buzzwords and still your experience, but likely someone's not hiring you for your experience. They're hiring you for where you'll be in 6 months from now. So I think
Okay.
at that point, it's important to just show who you are, what your interests are, what you've studied. Again, personal projects, co-ops, internships, anything that will set you apart from someone else.